Holy moly, I am faceless. I'm faceless. Holy shit. There's something gone wrong over here. Wait, hold on. Could it possibly be this little icon right there? There we go. Beautiful. Welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Tuesday morning. We got a special guest coming on in about 10-15 minutes now with Jason Bazzino, the good old simp brethren. Very much looking forward to that. But first things first, we'll get into the analysis of the day. I do want to warn you at the beginning here that we probably won't be doing too many super chats. I mean, maybe we'll like kind of pay a little bit of attention there, but I think that we also have some topics of conversation already prepared. And other than that, I see a lot of people in here. Good morning to everyone out there in cryptocurrency land. It is, it's a bad day. It's a great day, but it's a bad day. It's a very bad day for cryptocurrency holders as Bitcoin is sneezing and all of the altcoins are catching not just a cold, but they're catching like some sort of fucking Rona infused like cancer or some shit, as I do see across the board, like more than double-digit percentage downside moves. Pretty nasty as Bitcoin, more or less ranging here as far as the higher term timeframes go, and does certainly have, the potential for some more downside on top of that, which is going to be the topic of today. So you know what? I'm actually going to go, hello from NYC. What's up, man? I'm not in Chicago. I'm actually in Dubai right now, but it looks kind of like that as well. Hit the thumbs up and like if you choose Rich, says AntRich87. Look, I didn't say it, he did, but who am I to argue? Who am I to say otherwise? Oh, my alts had maids. That's exactly right. They had maids or AIDS. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to get into the analysis of the day right off the bat here. Then we're going to bring on the pizza man, Jason Bazzino, which I'm sure everyone already knows, but if you don't know him, you can find his channel in the link in the title, actually, which will bring you right there. He is extremely prolific and probably I think the best long-term channel at this point. We were kind of talking about it yesterday. I think that Benjamin Krown was kind of the guy for the prior cycle. Jason Bazzino is the guy for this cycle when it comes to long-term analysis from a more like not fucked up background. Choosing rich can mean short. Yes, indeed. Shout out to all the short kings out there in the world, both in stature and in position, and they might even be one and the same as well. I choose Pikachu. I choose you, sir. All right, let's get into the analysis of the day. I'm going to hit record over here. Welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a big day for cryptocurrencies as the downside does continue, and the topic of the day is how far down can Bitcoin go, and is it going to get worse today? Is it going to get worse? Perhaps yes. So let's go into the chart view right here, starting off with a continuation of the analysis thread that we've been having since basically middle of last week, the 12th to 13th of March, in which Bitcoin did start putting some drives of bearish divergence on the daily RSI for CME. That was coupled with the daily stochastic oscillator also positioned to the downside, which simultaneously did give a high probabilistic move to the downside. Now, the daily stochastic momentum pivot is currently at 72,500, so I would still be biased towards further downside as long as Bitcoin is living below that pivot. And the question is, how far down can Bitcoin go? Well, we do see that the 21 exponential moving average on the daily time frame here is still sitting at just below 64,000 bucks, which is going to be an area of interest. Bitcoin's pretty close to it already, to be fair, on CME, especially with this morning's continuation of this dump. So, what's another $1,000 on top of that? Well, probably not much, but ultimately I would be looking for a bounce attempt somewhere around there. Now, bounce attempt, not the same thing as a reversal, but as we come into today, Tuesday, we should also know a statistical fact of Tuesday, which Tuesday since February has actually been the most bearish day for Bitcoin. Now, priorly to February, the beginning of February, I should say, till now, if we were to look at Tuesdays, especially for, let's say, the beginning of 2023, and really for most of history, it's been more or less, it's actually been one of the more bullish days for Bitcoin, as we do look at these statistics for Tuesday right here with 56.25% closing positively. But that, again, is just measuring from January 1st of 2023. If I change that date to February of 2024, whoops, there we go, February 1st of 2024, which is where this rally really started to get, parabolic, I would say, or around there. Tuesday is now the least bullish day, weekday especially compared to basically everything else, which is either like like 80% or more, closing positively. And it's also got the biggest negative return for Tuesday at losing an average of 2.63%. So as of right now on the daily, Bitcoin has lost how much? Let's just see what this would look like in terms of perspective. Yeah, from open to wick low, that would actually be a 4% move. So if it does play more towards the average, that would put Bitcoin basically just below $66,000. But ultimately, closing yet again below the yellow 21 exponential average is going to put Bitcoin in a position of weakness short term. I'm sure that the herp and dirt bros or the head and shoulder bros are going to be calling this a left shoulder. Let me just draw it out right here. Left shoulder, head, and right derp right there. Fair enough. I guess it is kind of in there. I would say, or I would argue, if I am going to be a pattern bro, which I'm not, that your left shoulder is a little bit too far away from the head. You don't really see like the symmetry here, which to me is a signal that it probably doesn't play like that. But there is an obvious move on the other side. Again, as long as Bitcoin is basically below, in this case, Friday's high, which is 72,400, which is very much in alignment with the daily stochastic momentum pivot over here at 72,500. Downside is still the more likely thing to be coming from this. We also did see, although I did not call it out when it happened, because I just noticed it now, that the 12-hour time frame for the Oracle Pro did fire off a sell signal. If it actually is going to load here, how much do I trust this? Well, as long as Bitcoin's living below the yellow moving average, which is just I think it's a 20 simple right here. Yeah, it's 20 simple. Downside is going to be more likely. So this sell-off is more likely to get worse before it gets better. Anyways, moving back on into my notes, I should also denote that the HPDR bands was giving us a probabilistic move of a downside continuation coming in from yesterday's video as well. And where do you know? The daily median band is at 72,100 now. So it did come, 72,200. So again, everything kind of aligning with that, 72.5-ish region, let's say. And so as long as Bitcoin's below there, downside is more likely. Bounces are just that, bounces before getting ready for lower. But as I've been saying for, since this correction started about last week, I don't think that this is like a macro reversal. I don't think Bitcoin's going to be going to zero. I don't think any of that's happening at all. But if we were to see, based off of yesterday's video, Bitcoin really start to come back down and close below, on a daily time frame, I guess below like $56,000. Okay, then kind of have to start to to entertain that possibility. Until then, Bitcoin can very easily come back down to even just below $60,000 in the upper 50s, let's say 57 to 58,000 bucks, and still remain with the overall uptrend long term, with continuation implied probably after the midpoint of April, perhaps after halving, something like that, as we traditionally do see. But for right now, there is pressure on a Bitcoin. The bottom side of the 78.6 level right here is actually just below 64,000 bucks. That'd be sort of in alignment with spot price actions, correlation to the daily CME level right here. So, just around there, I'd probably be looking for another bounce attempt. But again, bounce attempt, not the same thing as reversal, just, probably a little bit of counter move. And then if Bitcoin wants to trade a little bit lower, I do think that, that would be a great setup for it coming into the end portion of this week or early next week. And I would still say, low 60s to very high 50s is probably where I'd be looking for, which would put Bitcoin at an overall correction from the highs of about 20%, which has been the sort of corrective percentage of this cycle thus far. If I can go back and end on this note, Bitcoin has seen many corrections. Well, I wouldn't say many corrections on this current cycle, but it's seen some corrections on this cycle. This one over here, 20%. This one over here, 21.5%. This one over here, 20%. I don't know. What's the next one? Or do we even have another one over here? Yes, we do. 21%. Holy shit. That's crazy. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for my portion of today's video. I'm going to bring on Jason Pizzino now. And if you're wondering where this video is being recorded, it's being recorded during a live stream, and I'm going to upload it later and maybe even make some shorts out of it as well. So yeah. Oh, I should also end on this note. I should follow up on the setup over here. Again, for the people who have been following the 4-hour skeleton key setup, very interesting. It closed at the top side of the move yesterday for a very slight profit. Again, this is a strategy that has just over a 50% strike rate and has won the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades. And, you know, again, I do think that taking profit at the top of this move, you know, when it was almost 5% away, which was the average take profit target, probably going to be wise. But even then, volatility kind of keeping it safe. And now that we have seen the downside cross on the 21.55, it is not going to be active, meaning that we're probably not going to see any trades from this until we do see a low on Bitcoin, basically, and then at least a short-term reversal. So if you're following on that, yep, it did get closed. I'm not saying that they're always going to be, you know, nice like this, even in a counter move, but in that case, you know, you can see that volatility, or using volatility to take profit, at least in my opinion, it works incredibly well. So fair enough. All right. Yes, we'll end things right there. As always, I want to wish you the best bets. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow. All right. Now that we got rid of all them stragglers watching these videos later, I'm going to bring on Jason Bazzino. He's on Google Meets over here. Let me, oh, fuck. I lost the thingy. Let me bring this back up over here. I done goofed. Let me allow my microphone and camera. Okay. Boom. All right. Jason, I'm asking to join, and it looks like it actually will pull. Yeah, it will pull my audio from both here, and actually have another camera as well. And there he is. Hold on. Let me bring the visual on, but they can hear you now, just so you know. Let me get your. Yeah, what's the best way to do this? Yes. Okay.
Oh, hold on. What have I got to do?
You don't have to do anything. I'm going to bring your nice face onto the picture here. I just need to add this source. Okay.
Hold on.
Let's do a new one, and I'm going to call it the P-Man. The P-Man. Okay. There we go. You can hear me, right, Jason?
Perfect.
Wait.
You good?
Hold on. Yes, but I'm fucking up. Where is your thing? Hold on. Let me, do I need to refresh this? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now I see it. Yes, we got it. Holy shit. Okay, now let me fix this up a little bit. Yeah, you're on, man. You are there. Everyone can hear you. You're nice and loud and clear.
Oh, there I am.
Yes,
cool.
Indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Okay, I'm going to fix this up in the background, but now we're good to go. I'm going to lock you in there. Let's do some editing on this. Make some filters and shit. It's going to look really, really nice, man. It's probably stuff that we should have done before, you know, getting you on. But that's, look, you don't come to this channel for like a high quality type production. You come to this channel for a silly goose time. And there we go. And boom. No, that's too much. Now you look like a square. Fucking square. All right, Jason. Good to see you, man. Actually, I'm going to give you more of a head right there. Yeah, you look like a floating. Hold on. Let's try.
Looks like there we go. Hair transplant.
Okay. I think we're good now. Yeah. All right, man. It's good to have you back. If you're not familiar with Jason, he is my good simp brethren. He looks very relaxed right there.
I'm trying to fit my head into the square that you've given me.
I think you're good now, man. I think you're good.
You got it? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And keep in mind that the stream will have like a little bit of a delay. So if you're watching the stream, like it's probably not gonna make too much sense. So whatever you're seeing on the meets here is what we're actually seeing right now. But yeah, like I said, we're probably not going to do too many super chats. Maybe we'll look at like a shitcoin or two. But overall, we're here to chat, man. We're here to chat. But yeah, I think Jason. Well, first things first. It's good to see you, man. By the way.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's good to see you, and good to see all of your crew that's been here throughout the bear market listening.
It is fucking crazy, man. These my autism has seeped into my community, and they've also, for some reason, stuck around during the buoyant part of the market cycle. We're choosing.
Well, I'm sure they're all very appreciative of it now. They chose Rich.
Yeah. Assuming you didn't use the last year to just short it all to hell.
As long as they weren't following other man buns trying to short the market.
Yeah, there's only room for one in this market. Jason, we're getting a lot of questions about Solana. Do you want to talk about Solana in terms of charts?
Solana. Let's have a look.
Keep on. This one's popped up a lot. It just went on like a phenomenal run. I think it's playing out like a. I mean, these altcoins just trade so fucking volatilely. I mean, it's down 15% from the high already. But to me, that just looks like a pullback. I don't see any issues here on like the weekly. If you're on a lower time frame, sure, this thing can come down more.
Provided it doesn't get under, provided it doesn't go under 130 and on a closing basis, as you say, then it's all right. Just looking on a much bigger time frame there, then
something like that.
Yeah, it's all good. I know people sort of misinterpret that like it's going to 130. No, it's as long as it doesn't go below 130 and close, then it can do any sort of pullback within that region. I guess the next question is, well, where is it going to go? For me, my deal, I always look at my 50%. So I just go January low to the current top at 210. So $80 to 210. The midpoint's about 144. So somewhere in that 130 to 150 would be a pretty safe region. It doesn't mean it has to get there.
I'd be looking right around. It doesn't have to get here, but if it got around here, this like 150-ish region, that would look like a buy to me, like for a very obvious trade. But for right now, I mean,
even 174 for now is
honestly, I'm not even convinced it gets down there, to be honest with you.
From here, from 188.
Look, I mean, if you look at a weekly, if you look at a monthly, like this is fine. It's completely fine.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah, I mean, it's only 1 day down so far. It's just done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My brother posted about it saying 7 straight days up, not the red and the green, but 7 straight days. Another Gann rule: higher highs, higher lows, and typically you'll see a reversal or a pause after 7 to 10 straight days.
There does seem to be something with that, man.
All sweet.
I didn't know that your brother's been doing that, but I've just kind of noticed this with Bitcoin specifically in this past cycle, and there does seem to be something with 7 days. 7 days seem to be like the sort of maximum for these trendy moves, both the upside and the downside actually. It does kind of signal like a shift in the market, if you will.
I saw a comment back to Michael on his post on Twitter just before, and it's from a trader. You'll love this. She just does astrology on the charts, right?
Which is
actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the one that you shared with me?
Maybe. It's Olga.
Yeah.
Her name's
Olga.
Olga.
I do follow her.
I have?
Yeah. I do follow her just to see.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. It's definitely interesting.
I'm not going to go down that path because obviously, there's enough about TA being astrology, but essentially using those pivot points in the moon cycle and all this other sort of stuff. 7 days is your quarter-way turn within the moon from new moon to full moon back to new moon.
Right. Yeah. I see people.
Just an interesting fact.
Not Marin. Thank heavens. I think Marin's pivoted to like OnlyFans or some shit.
I haven't seen her in forever.
That's because she's on OnlyFans. But that's a good move for her. That's a good move, I think. Just get out get out on the high and go transfer your assets to a different market. It's a good move. It's a good move. Like, you can only stay relevant.
You're encouraging girls to go to OnlyFans?
Hey, look, it's not. I'm not encouraging girls to go to OnlyFans. I'm encouraging crazy fucking witches to go to OnlyFans and spend their time there. I mean, look, man, she's probably making a shit ton of money there. That's great. That's good for her. She looks like she might have some mental illnesses, but who am I to speculate? I don't know. I don't know.
She is vegan.
That's confirmation. Confirmation of mental illness, and I just got reported on YouTube. Look, I'm not saying it's just a bad attempt at humor. It's just a joke, okay? If you're a vegan, you're not mentally ill. You're just a fucking retard.
I was mentally ill once too.
Yeah, I actually tried vegetarianism for a while as well, and all I got was just GI issues, man. I was clearing rooms with my farts. It was disgusting, like actually disgusting, man. Just awful. So yeah.
We make fun of altcoin buyers and investors being degenerates, but I think this stream has just turned quite degenerate very quickly.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Okay, so Jason, I wanted to talk with you about something that you know about that I don't know about, that I keep on seeing getting thrown around the sort of like Twitter and YouTube landscape, which is the current cycle for Bitcoin is a left translated cycle. What is that? What does that mean? Like, first off, what are people implying with that statement?
the left and the right relates to the lows. So it's the cycle lows.
Yeah.
And it depends on where the top comes in between the lows.
Yeah.
So the theory is Hurst cycle, Hurst.
Oh, okay.
And I learned about that Yeah, that's really what it is. I learned about that a couple of years ago when I asked Bob Lucas. You know Bob Lucas, he's the guy that's talked about the 4-year cycle. But whenever people talk about the 4-year cycle, they always go on about the halving.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not the halving whatsoever.
Gotcha.
So I remember asking Bob, what is this? And he told me Hurst. So I looked that up and I found a few other different channels that talk about Hurst cycle to learn more. Yeah. And really the theory is just about understanding the strength within that cycle itself. So you can go down to, I don't know what it was, 7 days, 20 days, 60 days, 4 months. You get the deal. Hurst cycles within cycles. And wherever those peaks come, whether it's on the first half of that cycle, so the left side or the right side, will tell you if it's going to be a weaker move or a stronger move. So can you still hear me?
Yeah. No, I can hear you. I'm just listening.
Right. Yeah. So essentially, if Bitcoin tops between now, so the bottom was in November 2022. If it tops before November 2024, that would be a left translated cycle, which means that you would have a longer bear market.
Interesting.
You'll have a 2-year instead of a 1 year, which we've normally had. So it doesn't have to be dead on that. It could be slightly right translated cycle. So maybe it would be an 18-month bear market instead of a 12-month bear market like we've had.
I see.
That's all.
I see. Okay. Yeah. And then so why are people saying that it is a left translated cycle? Just because Bitcoin's moving faster to the upside right now than what a lot of people expected? Is that the idea?
That's one thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is because it's hit a new all-time high sooner than it has done ever in history, and it happened before the halving as well. So they're like, that's it. This could be the top. So I think if this gets a little bit of a move on, people are going to freak out, and they'll start to call it a left translated cycle. And they'll say, I think those guys that will come out again, the old 3-year, it's, come back in 3 years. It's over. Come back in 3 years. Those sort of guys will come out. We have to wait and see. But if that happens, then you start to get more of that momentum shift to the bears, and then the bears come out, and then it's like they'll miss out on scooping up another bottom. But I think there's more to go to the upside based on another fantastic type of analysis, which I've seen most people get wrong, but it's Elliott wave. Michael's done another fantastic video. I know I'm talking about my brother's analysis here, but looking at the Elliott wave, we're potentially in the 4th wave now. So the wave coming down.
Yeah.
That's just a corrective wave before we get into the 5th wave. And the 5th wave is typically, well, we'll see for Bitcoin in this case. If for commodities, the 5th wave can be extremely powerful and huge. Could be a massive, massive pump. You and I, we know we're not to get too excited. Definitely Michael doesn't get overly excited. But either way, when we look at it, it looks like we'll get a 5th wave. How big that is, anyone's guess.
Yeah.
If it's going to act like a commodity, we're going to get a huge boom. If it's going to act like a stock market or a stock, it won't be as big.
I see. Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. So for me, I'm right on. I don't use Elliott wave at all. I've used to shit on it a lot, but I've actually seen some people use it quite well. And Elliott wave, I do think you kind of need to differentiate between using it as an actual trading tool, which I don't think is actually very wise, but using it as a general guide to kind of understand where you're at, that makes sense because, what is Elliott wave? Basically things trend in threes, and that's how trends work actually. So that actually does make sense, in theory, and it does work like that in practice as well. So that checks out. And I'm right on target with that as well, that, this is a corrective move for Bitcoin. We just had a pretty much vertical move from 40,000 to 74,000. Is it that crazy to maybe be looking for, I don't know, one of those Bitcoin corrections within an overall cycle, which we've seen many times before. If you go back to 2017, you saw all these 30 to 35% corrections. I think there was 5 or 6 of them throughout the year and a half that Bitcoin marched up to that $20,000 all-time high. We didn't really see too many corrections in the 2021 cycle, actually. That one was more or less just straight up, except for, just a 25 or 30% correction after it hit 40. But now during this cycle, we've seen Bitcoin go for several 20% corrections. And, if Bitcoin trades just a little bit below $60,000, which I think people in general will start to freak out if they start to see a 5 handle on Bitcoin. That's going to be a 20% correction for Bitcoin. And well, I think that would kind of get the job done in terms of fooling, I think, most people. I think especially the perma bears are going to feel validated. They're going to be like, okay, it's really coming down now. This is it, right? And then probably continues up and to the right, because I believe, at least from what I've seen, the real cycle to be aware of is the 18.6 year cycle that you've awared me on, that Phil Anderson has come up with. That's the one that I think actually does hold weight and will be the right one. And, that really kind of elongates out our current trajectory for this cycle, probably into 2025. Whether that's like summer of 2025 or end of 2025, I don't know, but that would make most sense to me. That's generally what I'm looking at and what I think is going to happen. And, to me, that just kind of sets in the tone that, hey, when you see 20 to 30% pullbacks on Bitcoin now, it's probably going to be an opportunity long term. And these corrections can take some time too. I mean, this can take like a month or two. Again, for perspective here, Bitcoin has gone vertical since January, late January, right? This is a almost 100% move, almost 100% move, just straight fucking vertical without any correction. We had 1 week where Bitcoin was unchanged. That's not a correction. That's just unchanged. It's not that fucking crazy to be looking for a pullback here. And even on the weekly, I mean, Bitcoin could come down significantly. I mean, even on the weekly, you could see it come down to like $50,000 or $52,000, and it would technically be fine. I don't think it gets that low, but hey, it's just for perspective here. Because long term, I think that this one still has more to go, and we're just kind of getting that. We're just kind of getting a correction. It's completely fine.
Does any of your analysis allow you to figure out what the probabilities are of what percentage correction we get moving forward? Obviously, we've seen a lot of 20 and 22%.
Yeah. So for my analysis, for my tools, I would need like some sort of a setup first. And right now, the only setups that would be of concern to me, I'm curious if they're even close to being firing off. Daily, no. 2-day, no. No. These are all corrective setups from what I see. In terms of volatility momentum, they're not reversal setups yet. Doesn't mean that they can't turn into reversal setups, but for reference, like if we're looking at a 2-day, this would take like minimum another month and a half before it even could potentially fire off like, hey, this is a macro reversal possible setup with implications back down below like $50,000. So that's pretty well and far away. So right now, this is a corrective setup as we do see volatility essentially go into a contraction phase, which is what you would expect after a move like this and momentum turn down. So to me, it's just like look for the next higher low is what that says. It won't shape up into what you're asking about for a while if it does at all. So that would be that would be how I kind of read that right now. So to answer your question, no, I don't see it right now. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's just it will not happen for at least a month.
There's not enough data to give you that sort of answer yet.
Yeah.
No, that's
and
fair
for
enough.
me, I always put trend first. Like for me, when it comes to analysis, trend always comes number one. If trend is to the upside, I'm going to be biased towards looking for higher lows first. Again, at some point that will fail, obviously. But for Bitcoin specifically, the trend, even on the daily, has been so fucking powerful in all past cycles. Anytime that we've seen the daily trend, for example, go from bullish to bearish, that actually has been the end of all prior cycles. And especially with the weekly to confirm it. I mean, that has been extremely powerful signal. So, again, as it stands right now, where's Bitcoin's last higher low on the daily? It's at like $50,000. It's got a long way to go before that becomes like a real concern, in my opinion. But that also means that things can come down significantly. I just would be looking at that as an opportunity personally.
Yeah, plenty of support there. And just speaking of trend, I mean, when we look at our own swing indicator, there's about a few $100 to go until the weekly turns down. The weekly turns. It doesn't necessarily turn down. We just get a higher low start to form on the weekly. That was last week. The low was 64,500. We're currently at basically 65. What's the low in that? 64. the current low 64.6. So if it gets another couple of $100 lower than that, then that will just turn the swing down. But it doesn't mean that the trend is down yet.
Right.
We just get to put in a higher low. We start to put in some sort of higher low. But yeah, 50% away for the weeklies at 56K. There's so much there. But I'm on. I think similar to you, man. It could take another month or so. But that's sort of like, I think, some of the longest time frames. We know from the past with the corrections, maybe it's going to be just a week or two. I think it's going to be more than that in this case.
I think it will be as well.
That previous ETF was 12 days. Yeah, I think it's going to be more than that. But it's nothing to worry about, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. But the thing is that it ultimately does present a chance. But just looking at the way that altcoins have sold off so fucking aggressively during what is kind of a routine correction for Bitcoin it's concerning for altcoins, I do think. But it really does feel like, and tell me if you agree with this, it really feels like to me the 2017 playbook, but kind of on steroids, where Bitcoin's more or less leading the market, and whenever Bitcoin corrects, altcoins get fucking creamed, and it's really not until that very last portion of the cycle where altcoins kind of get to roam free. Because realistically, if you're looking at altcoin Bitcoin pairings, most of them are just in long-term downtrends still. Their US dollar pairings, they go up, of course, but not as fast as Bitcoin. Therefore, the pairing goes down.
Totally. When it comes to XRP, I've used that a lot in examples, and that's like about to break some multi-year lows, and they still can't see it. All these XRP holders, XRP BTC, it's getting very close to like where it was in March 2017. Before
it's very possible that they're vegans as well.
There's something wrong with them, that's for sure. But yeah, the last time I talked about it, XRP BTC jumped like, I think it was 20% on the day, and then it spent the next 5 days just dropping. Whatever that last green candle was.
Oh my God.
I said, this thing's a hunk of poop. It's a chart that you do not want to be a part of. And yeah, obviously it triggers a lot of people. I have some
chart gave my eyes AIDS. This is awful, man.
Yeah.
just awful. Terrible.
I just can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, when you said it, is it the playbook of 2017? Similar, yeah. But 2020, that's what I'm looking for. November, December 2020, when Bitcoin was about to break into new all-time highs, you had a month down for altcoins against their Bitcoin pair, like pretty severely. That was their last month. And then they all took off with it. So I'm still keeping an open mind there. I'm sure you are too, that
of course.
Altcoins, maybe they'll have another go, because some of these altcoins that went hard and peaked around December, January have been pulling back for the last 2 to 3 months. Like I was watching TIA, I was watching Casper, been watching Injective. Like they've all been pulling back pretty tough on against their Bitcoin values. But they had a really good run for 2023. Yeah,
and those will probably be the big winners this cycle anyways. But yeah, just looking at XRP right now, for anyone who is interested, I mean, versus its Bitcoin pairing, again, not the same thing as its US dollar pairing, but versus its Bitcoin pairing, I've seen this ever since I started looking at this market in 2017. It pumps up, and then it never continues into a trend. Like, and I even think right here, you might even get another one of these like quick pumps. You might even get something like this, but it's just gonna do another one of those. I think it's same shit what you saw right there. It's really fucking ugly. But the bankers are using XRP, and it's going to save the world and all of that good stuff. So I'm just trying to accumulate your XRPs low. That's all, man. I'm trying to steal it all for myself.
I'll buy your cheap app. Whatever you sell, I'll buy. Okay. I'll short sell a lot into you.
Buy signal. Yep. I mean, maybe but it's always funny how that works out, right?
I'm so glad I counter trade you.
Yeah, all of these like man, it is funny how like all these phrases just get reused. Like there's no thought behind it, It's like anyways, probably shouldn't even get into that, but yeah, man. Yeah, and I see people talking about stellar lumens, of course. Yes, I definitely do remember that Haplon And I even still see comments about these things. Yeah, these are just, in my opinion, like dead. I actually had a friend who, when I was living in Chicago, he was a programmer, a very very talented programmer, and Stellar, the XLM Lumens, tried to like recruit him, and so he went and visited them in San Francisco, and he came back, and I remember he said, "There's no way. There's no way." And that really stuck with me. And so ever since,
not going to make it.
Yeah, he's like, these guys are fucking clueless. And that was it.
That's so crazy how big they got as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's wild, man. Show Jason the Balkan dwarf. I can show you the Balkan dwarf chart, but that's not the true value of the Balkan dwarf. The Balkan dwarf, the value here is in the music, my man, and I will show you. Is the live stream
enjoying our reminiscing of 2017? Like, I think it's only something that we like to talk about, because most people wanting to know, well, what am I going to make money from now? That's the good old days. SC. I was looking up Coin just then.
Yeah, Coin. Yeah, that fucking piece of garbage. Holy shit, this dwarf is going out of control right now. You can't choose which one is the best one.
NEM is the worst chart in history.
Oh, you're talking about symbol NEM. Yeah, I remember this thing.
The NEM.
Oh, okay.
It's just gone.
Do you remember Ant Shares or Neo?
Oh yeah,
this thing went fucking lunar in 2017. And it just never did anything. It was Ant Shares first. It went from like under a cent, a tenth of a cent, to fucking $200, and then just never did anything after that. I guess
it's almost back to its low as well.
It's almost back to its low, despite everything else pumping up to the moon and beyond.
That's a break to new fresh lows.
Yeah. Is there anything, Jason, that
let's bring the mood up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jason, is there anything that is there any altcoin of this cycle that you particularly like?
I've liked getting into some of the AI stuff. One little one I'm looking at was, well, it's of a previous cycle, but it's done relatively well, was Singularity Network. AGIX, AGIX. That's done pretty well. And then obviously the stuff on the stuff on Solana's done well too. So I've been buying some of those, just sharing it with the members. I haven't shared those online to the YouTube audience, because I focus primarily on Bitcoin. There's just so many things to take care of that there's too many things,
Yeah. Maybe that's something to kind of speak to for a second, because one thing that I've definitely felt
it's bad, and then you're saying you're selling it. And I feel like I've learned that lesson from last cycle.
Oh, you kind of just cut out there for a second. But maybe that's something that we could speak to for a second, because I know that for myself, I felt this, and perhaps you have as well. And I think definitely some other people out there have felt this, that, you see so many different things, so many different crypto assets going to the moon and beyond. And you feel like you're missing out if you don't catch all of them. But realistically, realistically, you're not going to fucking catch all of them is what I've started to, is kind of how I resolve that situation. And then second, you only need to catch one of them. Like, how many fucking 1,000x% do you need to catch, with $1,000 to make a lot of fucking money? Not many, realistically. I see a lot of people getting caught up in this, especially recently. It seems like anyone who puts out an address, anyone who puts out any sort of, new token contract address at all, just gets sent all of this fucking cash, with people hoping to, I guess, get these incredible returns, which are incredible, no doubt. But how many fucking Joe Bidens are there going to be, or Elizabeth Warrens, or, or dog with hats? Like, these things, they're not that fucking common.
Or cock in you.
Or cock in you, and I could use some more cock in me as well.
That's my favorite one.
It's so crypto, man. Like, it's so fucking crypto. Like, I can just imagine some boomer from traditional finance coming over to this land and being like, what the fuck have we gotten ourselves into? Like, what is this? What is going on?
But I saw a few posts on X, and it brings up the discussion about like meme coins. And someone was, I don't know if you saw it, it was just recent, probably the last 24 hours. And he was like, meme coins are destroying crypto. It happens every cycle. There's someone that says it. And then the same replies are, You just missed out. You're so salty that you didn't get the bottom. It's like, no, not necessarily. I just think if you're a degenerate, you're going to search this shit out regardless. Like you're the type of person that does sports gambling. You're the type of person that does maybe penny stocks, or you would like to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Forex trading.
Well, I think also like, look, if you don't have a big account size, I mean, that probably actually is better. You know, if you really, if you really are looking for that, like if you're just playing with like $100 or something, maybe then again you say, well, that's like worse than gambling. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe I've seen some people do like their research into these things and they seem to actually be successful more often than not. So maybe there is something to it. But I think, as your account size goes up and up and up, you want to get further and further away from these sort of things because there's no point in having higher risk because you don't need those higher returns anymore. And I think, just letting that sort of greed from cycle to cycle really get to you. And I've felt this before. Like I remember in 2021 when I was seeing some of these guys like starting to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Like, I'm doing fine. Like I have no financial worries, but at the same time, don't have $100 million. And I feel that same sort of process going in myself. And then I really had to like stop myself and be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, relax. Things are all good, just keep on playing your game. Because, at the end of the day, like, I don't think it's necessary, man. And you also don't know like the other side of what these people are doing and what they actually have and all this sort of stuff. And a lot of it's engagement farming. People have even been caught faking profit and loss statements on Twitter posts and shit like that. And so it's, I think it's kind of a fool's game, really. But yeah, man, Harry Balkan Inu.
I agree.
Yeah, man, I miss the cum
It's
rockets
the same
of the
thing,
day.
and you've noticed yourself. That was recent, wasn't it? It was a big one.
Oh, there's been a lot recently, honestly. There's Dog Whiff Hat that went fucking lunar. There was all these soul meme coins that like Joe Biden and then Elizabeth Warren and like Andrew Tate and shit like that, man. It's a weird space.
So the point of that one was that it's taking away from real projects that are looking for real investment. And I'm like, even if they're not there, if meme coins weren't there, these people wouldn't be looking for real projects that are doing real things.
I agree. I think the meme projects are actually a net positive for cryptocurrency. It brings a lot more people in. People don't really seem to get brought in as much by Bitcoin anymore or Ethereum. It seems like they start off with the shit coins first. Something goes viral on TikTok or one of these very short form sort of media venues, and then that brings a lot of like new people in. Yes, these are probably not like the people with massive accounts or anything, but that just that sort of word of mouth type of marketing, it really spreads a lot more than we can really account for just by like someone getting into fucking some sort of shit coin. I think so. Overall, I do actually think that it is a net positive. I mean, shit, man. I even saw Donald Trump create like an NFT project. Elsa wanted his NFT. Like that's
Why?
Why did she want his NFT? Elsa is a far right provocateur, and she loves Trump. No, she's not, but she is. Here's the thing. Elsa has very like rational views, I would say, and like very normal views, but nowadays that's kind of looked at as like a little far, it's looked at right of center, I think, is what that's looked at. It was actually very funny recently because she met my dad. My parents came to Dubai for my boxing match, and so she met them nice. for like a couple weeks. And Elsa's probably like a few more steps to the right of center. Same thing with my mom, but my dad's a fucking San Francisco guy. he's on the left side. He's not he's not woke, like he doesn't believe the trans shit, but he believes a lot of the other stuff. And so it's very funny to hear them go back and forwards. And at the end of it, Elsa's like, I hate most lefties, but I like your dad.
Because he's like the old school lefty.
Yeah, he's like an old school
actually
lefty.
Meant something.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
But he's still kind of stuck in that sort of mindset. Like he hasn't realized that the left they've gone further to the left, But yeah, he's always sending me like articles about how the neo-Nazis are going to take over America and shit. I'm like, maybe. Maybe. It is what it is, man.
I get fascinated by how did this all play out in the last cycle, because this isn't the first time that things have gone to the extremes of either end of politics, even though I guess a lot of us think that now is, it's the most extreme it's ever been. And, it's happened several times before in history, at least recorded history.
You can look at like ancient Greek texts and quotes from people back in the day. They're saying the same shit as what we say right now. I think it's really one of those things, like the more things change, the more things are the same. Because people don't really change all that much. That's the whole thing with it. And realistically, man, like, for example, people are all up in arms about TikTok now, or just the internet, these short form contents destroying everyone's minds. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember my mom would call the TV the boob tube because only idiots fucking watched it. I think my grandparents called it like the idiot box or something like that, because they were concerned that everyone was getting dumber from watching this. And I think before that, you could read in some newspapers back in like back when the newspapers were newspapers, and people were concerned about that as well. It's like everyone's so enamored with this new thing. So it's like things change, yes, but people are saying the same shit about that as they were back then. So I don't really know actually how much it is different.
I mean, that's what they say with technology as well. Oh. When I look at the 18-year cycle, when I get into the cycle, they're like, but couldn't the internet speed up the cycle now? And it's like, I've asked Phil this as well, and he just said, well, they had technology back in the day too, but it's just, we don't think of it as technology anymore because we've been used to it for so long. It's like, what about when they got the printing press? Like, they didn't have that before. Then all of a sudden you're going from writing one thing at a time to friggin' printing thousands at a time. Like, that's a huge step forward for them. And then obviously we've got TV.
I see someone asking for a chart of KMA here. Pretty bad. I would say it's pretty ugly.
Of what?
KMA, symbol KMA. He's looking at it on the weekly. It's been around since 2021, so that's strike one. It has not gotten anywhere near the prior all-time highs, and the strong coins from 2021 have already tested their all-time highs. So this one got maybe like half the way there. Let's see how far away. It needed another 400% move to retest all-time highs from its current position, and even more than that. To me, this just looks like another lower high in a series of lower highs, if you can even call it that. Generally, a rising tide will lift all ships in this market, and because the cycle, at least in my opinion, and also Jason's, it sounds like as well, is very likely to continue up over the next year, maybe year and a half. This one will very likely rise from here. I don't think I think that this chart in general is very uninteresting. Oh, you don't know about that in crypto? Okay.
I'm
Explain.
unsure. Yeah, I'm unsure. So far, I'm unsure about whether Bitcoin and crypto will last till the end of the 18-year cycle. I've just lost you.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah, you're there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. The top of the cycle for the 2025-2026 date is for real estate and the economy. So that's where that peak is looking for. Stocks could keep going. We don't know yet, but they could keep going. Maybe end of 26. I don't know. But for crypto, I'm definitely looking to see how this wave 5 plays out and how long that takes. So if that happens to occur at the end of 2024, then I wouldn't expect to see higher prices for crypto into 2025.
Interesting. Okay.
Just depending on how long. Yeah, just depending on how long this wave 5 takes. Maybe we do. Maybe it ends up early 25. But what we've seen in the past as well with each of the other cycles is Bitcoin basically stops, and then the stock market keeps going or has some sort of pause. So remember 2018, we had the peak in December 2017.
Yeah.
And then the stock market, it kept going in 2018, but it had several corrections.
Okay.
It didn't collapse like crypto did,
yeah.
But it was pausing. And I think 2015 was similar. Let me just have a quick look. 2015 was that time when everyone thought the market was going to collapse again because it broken into new, fresh, all-time highs in 2013. It ran up. We got that Bitcoin top in December or November, December 2013. Bitcoin and crypto collapsed, and the stock market kept going into 2015, and then basically 2015 it went sideways. the stock market had a few corrections. So I think what happens is Bitcoin and crypto find a top, and the stock market keeps going for a bit longer. How long that is, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've seen in the past as well.
Recent example.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a top. Sorry, just the last thing. November 21, Bitcoin topped, and then the stock market went for another 2 months. Yes, the Nasdaq topped at the same time, but the stock market went for another 2 months. So it was shorter there. But 2018, the stock market just kept going. Had a peak in 2018, and then it went into late 2018, and then again 2015. So let's see.
I hear you on that, and it does make most sense because traditional markets or just more legitimate assets are going to have that strength over something like, a Bitcoin or especially other cryptocurrencies, underneath that.
Yeah, I think people will take all their profits out and start to throw it somewhere else. Like, I made all this money from crypto, I'm going to go buy some real estate. And now they're buying real estate at the top of the market, or they're buying their stocks at the top of the market.
Exactly.
Again. And that just sort of spurs things on a bit more.
I do see a really interesting comment here, which I couldn't disagree more with, but I think it might be a good talking point. Michael Smith says, once traditional markets really heat up, riskier assets would likely fall to the wayside. No, I would disagree with that entirely, because once traditional markets really heat up, that's when you're most likely to see other things start to rise, because that is when, usually you expect your strong ones to lead first and then your sort of weaker ones to follow as money just starts to slosh around and becomes, more and more easy, I guess. And so that's really the time when you would be expecting other things to actually go up that are not the strongest ones. So, if you consider Bitcoin a riskier asset, I would say that would probably be one of the ones that would benefit from that sort of time. That is why traditional markets, or especially the strongest stocks, typically like the strongest 5, 7, whatever you want to call it, just the top ones in the SPY bourse, those ones break out first. They lead the market. Then once they break out, then other things start to follow. So I would actually very much disagree with that, and I think that's kind of the wrong way to be thinking. Just for the simple fact that that's at least what I've seen in my whole career. But yeah, I see another really good question. I know that you get this one as well a lot. I don't know how to say your name, my man. Yao Manal, maybe. Sorry, man, if I'm butchering that. But he says, so where do we put our shit when the everything cycle pops? You put it in the toilet is where you put it. But if you're talking about assets, theoretically, where would you put the gains from your assets after the market, quote unquote, tops, Jason?
Yeah, that one comes up so much, and obviously it's a good question. I thought the same thing, and I talked and asked Phil heaps of times. When I went back and reviewed the macro charts of the stock market, real estate, cash, USD, gold, then unless you get the exact peaks on each, you're better off just keeping it in, I think, so not financial advice, but I think it's better off just keeping it in cash and real estate if you want real estate, because there's probably the least chance of real estate dropping the most, right? But if you wanted to time it, the real estate peaked in 2006, so the end of the last cycle. Real estate peaked 2006, stock market peaked late 2007, gold had a peak in early 2008, then it dropped, then it came back. Meanwhile, the stock market bottomed in 2009. Both of those took off together, and then real estate bottomed in 2011-12. So if you can time switching between all these things every 6 to 12 months, well, you're going to do better than everyone that on this entire planet. But if you're not going to time it like that, then I personally think cash is probably the best there. Then you've got to weigh up, well, what country do you live in, and what is your government going to do with the cash in the bank? So that's why I've chosen to have some cash, and I'm also choosing to have mostly real estate, because I don't think they're going to come after the real estate as much as they would with cash.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't, but if they need money, they're probably going to freeze money in accounts before they force you to sell your real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. I see a comment here.
I don't have an idiot-proof answer to that.
Yeah, I hear you, and I'll give my take as well. But first, I see that Oisa says, "Stop drinking and crunching, bruv." No can do, brother. No can do. But yeah, man. Again, there's there is a right or wrong answer for this. It's just no one knows it. I can share what I plan to do, and my sort of plan to do is I want to be 50% cash and I want to be 50% assets. What is that 50% assets going to be split between? It's going to be split between Bitcoin. It's going to be split between just the major SPY or SPX, and then I'll also have real estate as well. And that's just, again, I've made peace with the fact that it's not going to be perfect, but I feel well enough diversified at that point where I have those three, and then cash, 50% cash. So I'm going to be heavily weighted towards cash, as I think that's still going to be the right sort of plan. And then, so what's your risk from there? Okay, well, would your currency massively devalue or something? Perhaps yes. I know that there's a lot of theories going around with that. Again, I don't think anyone's well versed enough to know exactly what's going to happen, but I would feel good holding cash, just knowing that gives me the most optionality of what to do with it. Because if I do decide that, hey, okay, I need to go like full into assets now because something's happening, or like my currency is massively devaluing, that's going to be the easiest way to get that money back in there. And then I already got the 50% of just asset value already locked away. So I think that's the right way to go. But it also kind of depends like what your financial position is. Do you have this sort of extra cash to be playing around with, or finances to be playing around with? So the answer for everyone is going to be different, I think. I don't think it's going to be a simple thing, man. But yeah.
There's no one fix to it. I think the safest things are real estate and cash. But yeah, if you want to have something diversified in stocks, at the end of the cycle, the stocks usually go down at least sort of 50%. So if you're happy to stomach that, then it is what it is.
The reason why I'd stomach it is just because I want to hedge against if I don't know. And so realistically, my stock portion of that asset, I mean, it's going to be like 30%, 25 to 30%. So overall, that's 25 to 30% of 50%. So it's not that big of a thing. So it's just a hedge against myself. Like, what if I'm really, really wrong? Like, all of this thing is just wrong. At least I have that. I have that. That's what I'd be thinking. So.
What happens if it melts up over that period and it's just hyperinflation, that sort of shit?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's always interesting to read some of the comments and not everyone, but some people just want to claim that they're absolute geniuses. Like, I sold the exact top, man. Should have listened to me, man. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Okay.
Is there someone in there saying that?
Yeah, there's this weird guy, Div X-Ray, right now. That's the one. But I always find that these people, you put out this amazing tweet that just stuck with me. And it always sticks with me whenever I think about arguing with someone or just being like, what the fuck is up this guy's asshole? Yeah, well, one, they're probably young, but maybe they're not. We don't know. But you put out this tweet, Jason. This must have been a year or two ago, where you asked people to vote, or it was a poll. What's your trading equity size or something like that? And I think it was below 5,000, somewhere around 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, and 70% or 80% of the respondents were below 5,000. And look, there's nothing wrong with having a lower equity amount, but I do find that, the people who are most combative online probably fall into that category. And then you have the other statistic that I think 70 or 80% of males under the age of 30 are virgins, and you're like, oh my God, wait a second. You're poor and a virgin.
Is it really that high?
Sorry. Okay, I'm just being a fucking asshole right now. Look, I'm just saying that for the jokes. You can, maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong.
The only problem with that is if they are combative. If you're poor, that you just got to do your own thing, and if you're virgin, you'll figure it out. But you're not an asshole about it. You're only really having to go at the assholes.
Of course. And the thing is, I always like to remind myself, okay, what was I like when I was at that stage? Because it wasn't that long ago where I was young and literally destitute, not just poor, but $0. And I wasn't really commenting on people's shit, to be honest with you. But I was just at that point, it's like if you had a fucking 1,000-pound bear chasing you, you're only going to be thinking about that. You're not really thinking about anything else, that's your main concern. It's okay, how am I going to make enough money at the end of this month that I can afford my rent? Like that's your main concern, you know. 70 to 80%. Yeah. So Varus and numerous. I was shocked by this as well, but it's something crazy like that. Like men under 30 in Western countries like America, Britain, you know, most European countries, they're just not having sex anymore. Maybe that's because of like COVID or something. I don't know. But if you look
I found something here. April 2023, so almost exactly 12 months ago. Young male virginity on the rise. Share of men under age 30 who report 0 female sex partners since they turned 18. It's at 27%. That's
okay,
still mental. 1 out
All right,
of 4
my
people.
bad. I'm way off there. Way off.
You're saying 3 out of 4 people. I think it's more the other way.
So like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4, basically. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, it's like, okay, when I was that age, like, and I'm sure that when you were that age, like, that's all you could fucking think about, you know? That was it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that mattered. Like, it didn't even matter if I had no money. It was like
sex was a currency.
Yep. And it is what it is. And I'm sure most men in that age range can probably relate. Soy boys. I fucking love that term, man. Yeah, too much soy.
We haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah. I haven't heard it in a while as well, but it's such an accurate terminology. Soy boy. Yeah, but now we're all scared to talk to a woman. But the thing is, you don't even need to talk to them anymore. You have apps and shit. You know, it's better. it's autistic friendly now. It's perfect. Long celibacy. There's got to be a coin for this too, man. I choose poor instead of virginity. Exactly. I think that is the mentality. The apps are heartbreaking, bro. I think if anything, it should be illuminating. Taints are smaller. That is a real thing. I've actually heard a lot about this. I've read a lot about it as well. Meta gonna make them virgins happy? Well, I do think in a more serious tone that actually is a real path forward, because people already have, you know, these headsets, these Apple or Google glasses or whatever the fuck they are, Meta glasses. They're just gonna create a girlfriend and create the perfect partner, and it's like, at that point, I don't even need Elsa. It's just, all right, I'm going into the metaverse, and that's it's over. It's over with, because you're outdated at this point. Women come when you got money. I just
they'll probably have
the
parties
wrong
with
women
themselves and feel each other up. These guys.
Yeah. There might be a little bit of that as well. Just once you get the fleshlight attachment, it's over, man. But I see a lot from both sides. Anyways, it's probably not a topic for us to get into. We should probably just stick to trading in crypto markets instead of talking about fucking sexual relationships and shit like that.
I think so.
But yeah, man, fair enough. We're all gonna end up there anyways, I guess. But yeah, going
price
back
target. Have you got a price target for the end of this cycle? I haven't heard many of that.
I have a price target for this correction, but end of cycle, like, I see a lot of people throw these things around. Look, if I give out a price end of cycle target, I'm just completely pulling this shit out of my ass. It's like a fucking 1% educated guess. It's not going to be accurate, but I would just say probably above 100,000, probably below 200,000. I think somewhere in there would make sense. I think if you see Bitcoin start to get towards like 5 trillion market cap, that's probably starting to be a top signal. 10 trillion market cap, I would probably want to start to really exit a lot on this market. Just for the simple fact is that's like approaching.
What's it at now?
I think Bitcoin itself is like 2. Let me see. I actually really don't know.
No, it was 1.3 before. With this drop, maybe it's 1.1 or 1.2 or something.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense. I'm looking it up right now. It's 1.3 trillion. 1.3 trillion. So yeah,
Okay, so to get to 5 trillion, that's still a big move.
It's like a 2x.
4 times.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not. It's because it doesn't work like that, Jason. It works. It's the price multiplied by the last. It's the price multiplied the last traded price multiplied by the circulating supply. So it doesn't necessarily need to like fucking quadruple in order for that to go from like 1.3 to 5-ish. Just doing some bad mental math there. That's why market cap isn't like actually the best metric to be going off of. So like if, for example, I saw this coin symbol JUP, Jupiter. It like doubled it doubled in the past week, and its market cap its market cap like 10x'd, So you can get shit like that. Obviously, they were introducing more tokens, so that's going to be a part of the thing. But yeah, man. Look, I don't know where it's going to top out. I think above 100, below 200, something like that would kind of make sense to me. What's your opinion, man?
I was doing that today, just looking at 50% levels and where we've seen some resistance. Because, Bitcoin's a lot of charts do that every now and then. Essentially, what I'm talking about is a low to a high.
Yeah.
And then you sort of just do 100% on top of that. So we're sort of seeing around 60 to 70 grand. Yeah. The move from the low of 15 and a half to what is that, 65-ish? That's a 50 grand. So throw 50 grand on top, maybe somewhere around there, sort of around 120 to 130.
Yeah.
That's a slightly educated guess, that's all.
That is a fib extension as well. It's just yeah. Again, it's not something that I'm going to know, and I'm not concerned about knowing that. What I'm concerned is knowing when the top is in. And the problem is when the top is in, it's going to be after the top is in, just by the definition of it. So I think people get wrapped up in this like way too much. You don't need to catch the exact ultimate top or anything like that. That's just Twitter bullshit, I think. You want to catch like 50 to 70% of the bulk of the move. So if you got in, let's say around I would say a really good entry price for this cycle was between 20 and 25. That's when, things really were starting to shape up as like, this is obviously a macro low. Then, if you're in above 100, that's a phenomenal move. That's a phenomenal move. And so I would even be taking profits I'll be taking profits along the way, the whole time, just small here and there, just in case if I am wrong, of course, because you never know. You never know for sure, and it always feels good to realize some. And again, when the top is actually in, you're not going to know on the top. You're going to know after it puts in a lower low and a lower high, or at least a lower low. So by nature of that, you're probably going to be somewhere between like 10 to 20% away from the actual top. And so that's when I'll be like, okay, yeah, it's time to pack the bags and get out of here, or at least basically be looking for short positions rather than long positions. But until that happens, I'm going to be biased towards looking towards long positions. I'm going to be biased towards upside strategies. And once that turnaround happens, I'm going to give some back. It's just the nature of the game. It's fine. You can afford to give some back when you were in for most of the move. It's just, you don't need to be fucking perfect, man. Round trip is my destiny, or also that as well. I see that a lot.
The round trip. Like these sort of targets, I don't know if they're telling the truth or they're just sort of throwing numbers out, because at the end of the day, it's just freaking social media.
It's
just
speculation.
Say whatever. Like AD says 250K top. Like, are they just saying that, or are they just like, no, I've seen this other YouTuber present this really hard, cold, factual evidence that it has to be 250 or higher.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're saying it, because it's just
I
random
wouldn't
shit,
get married to that. Because the problem with getting married to that is that you will then hold on until that number is hit. And what if it's like 10,000 off that number? Are you going to not take profit?
I'm still waiting for 300,000 Bitcoin for September 21.
And the thing is that I've already seen the price targets get crazier and crazier for this cycle. Like, I think Kathy Woods, she didn't raise her price target of $1 million, but she lowered the time frame in which it gets there, which is kind of the same thing.
I don't understand how they can get away with it. Like, she talks bullshit, like just nonstop.
Yeah.
Liquid diarrhea out of the mouth, like just nothing, just nonsense. And people get so triggered when I talk about that. I'm like, guys, everything she has said from the last cycle, none of it came true. Why are you so?
There's no accountability, really. There's no accountability.
No accountability. Yeah, you're right.
Because
she just makes money off the hype. I'm like, I'm okay with the hype. You and I are making money holding Bitcoin.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah. Look, fucking pump it, Kathy.
To the fucking regulators. Yeah.
Nisham says, great stream, guys. Like watching less action, but with guys. But if we include Kathy Woods, I think she'd be a great lesbian as well. She definitely looks like she likes girls, and that's fine. It's 2024. It's good.
Wait up. Does she have kids, though?
Well, who gives a fuck if she has kids?
Yeah, okay. She has 3 children. How dare you?
Well,
what is a devout Christian?
Definitely a lesbian. Kathy likes wood. Nah, I don't believe it. She hasn't said anything to me.
Wait, so. Robert? Which one's? Oh, Richard. Nah, her she's divorced from Robert Wood. I thought if it was Richard Wood, that'd be a funny name.
She's a Bible thumper, but it's like that's like projection, you know, when you feel like you really need to project the other side because you're really in secret the gay priest who molests little boys. That could be something.
We've all been there, Eric.
Some of us have actually been that boy. Look at us,
You'll
Jason.
get demonetized before the end of this bull market.
Most of my videos get demonetized. It's fine. It's fine.
Really?
A lot of the time they get limited, that's for sure.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, obviously you swear a bit, but it's just for fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I mean, to me, it's more important to have fun on YouTube than make like it's a decent amount that YouTube makes, or that my YouTube makes now, but like it's not a life-changing amount or anything like that. So it's like, all right, fair enough.
No. That's what people always say, like, "Oh, you're just doing this for clicks." I'm like, "Yeah."
If only you
knew. Not the clicks.
If only, yeah. I love that comment. I love that comment, man. It's like this guy only makes his money from YouTube. It's like, if only you knew. If only you knew.
Yeah.
I think people just don't understand what that actually looks like. It can be some decent money at some points for sure, but I wouldn't want to rely on YouTube, man. That would be silly. And like this is what really always gets me. It's like, okay, even if that was true, let's say that was true. Is there anything wrong with having multiple streams of income? I mean, to me, that seems like a very logical decision. Like, for me, it's like I have my trading, I have my investing, I have my business, and then I have YouTube. And it's like, okay, that gives a lot of comfort, a lot of leeway if something were to go wrong in one of those venues, because it can go wrong. You never know what's going to happen. You never know if you get like a random medical bill for fucking $1 million, and well, what are you going to do then? It's like you would have wished that you worked a little bit harder and had some more income streams that might help you out during those times. That's the way that I like to think about it. Krown loves cock. I love cock inu, not just cock, sir. So get it fucking right. Pepe Loney. Damn shitcoins.
Looking at Dib here, like to fight Ben Armstrong, I think you made a good point on that. You're looking at a massive size difference there. I'm not sure how tall he is. But he's
probably taller. Someone asked him, and he said he wouldn't fight me because he thinks that I'm like super big. If he saw me in real life, like he'd probably be a bigger guy. He probably weighs more. I'm short. I'm like 5'8", if that. So I think it'd go better for him. But yeah, no, I don't think he's that fat anymore, BitBoy. I think he's gotten in like decent shape, man. He's done a lot of work. Like when I watched his fight, I actually look. I'll say something that is not gonna win me anything, but when I watched BitBoy fight, I started to like him. I started to really like him. Like you see that drive and you see like him really get aggressive and want to fucking go for it. I loved it, man. I loved it. He had heart. Yeah. And that's like what you want to see, man. I think people who haven't been in a fight, like they don't understand what you have to go through in order to get to that moment. And seeing him get in there, like I was like, okay, I actually really respect this guy now. Maybe I don't respect like what he's done on his YouTube or anything. I don't know, man. I haven't fucking followed him there. Seems like he's done some questionable things like with his wife and family. That seems maybe a little bit not the best, but who am I to fucking speculate? I don't know his story. I don't know him. I've been on his show once, barely spoke to him. I don't know the full story is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, cheating on your wife, maybe not the best.
Are they still around, the BitBoy thing?
I think he has his own channel now, and like he split from his prior channel because his prior channel wasn't really his. He was kind of a part of an agency, basically.
Oh, they changed the name.
Yeah,
Discover
yeah.
Crypto. I think
How are
that's
they
what it
doing,
is.
man? Because I can't imagine.
Shot the shit.
Yeah, I would think BitBoy was like the face of that channel. So good luck figuring out after him. Because whether you love him or hate him, he was entertaining as hell. He was always a story, and even if you hated him, he was always in your feed. So you always knew about him. You were
Well,
always being introduced to him.
it's literally just for the personality.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's not if you want to make money, it's just the personality. That's about it.
Well, he attracts a certain type of person, right? Like he's got all these conspiracy
Yeah.
theories about what's going on, and it's this and they and that going on, and it's a very sexy story for a lot of people. I think it's the same. It's the same way that a lot of these other more extreme movements, both on the left and right side, kind of co-opt people into believing it. Is because they tell these very sexy stories that seduce them into it.
That's it. It's the same thing when it comes to the nonsense with the left and the right.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. It's the same shit, man. It's the same shit. It's like whenever
It's the
I go on
same
someone's
shit. Yeah.
whenever I go on someone's Twitter profile and they're either like always posted about political shit on the left or right side, I'm like, man, I saved that profile just so I can view it later and be like, what is this mentally ill person doing? Because you find some good ones. You find some really good ones, and it's so entertaining.
Speaking of mentally ill, Max Kaiser, that's another mentally ill.
I don't really know. I don't really know him, to be honest with you. I've just seen a few things, but I don't know if he's putting on an act or anything because it was so over the top that I was like, this can't be right.
Well, if it's Max Kaiser that we see publicly, then it's nonsense. It's more BS. But who knows what they're like behind the scenes? I have no idea.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You don't know because a lot of these people, like, they're not being themselves. They're playing a character. At least that's kind of what I've gathered because I have met some of these guys in real life and they're just completely different. And I was really surprised, really shocked, so, in a good way for a lot of them actually. So just something kind of off tone there. Every time Max calls for 200,000, he probably dumps on us. I don't even think that's an issue. Like, how many fucking Bitcoins does he really have to move the market? Probably not many. Probably not enough. Probably not enough.
Not enough for how much he goes on about it.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you're looking at? What am I thinking about in the crypto market? I'm thinking about
ETH. And crypto.
ETH. Okay. Yeah. ETH is an interesting topic just because when I look at the chart here, I mean, it really just gets creamed anytime Bitcoin shows any sort of downside. Already down 18% from the high. Bitcoin's down what in comparison to that? 13%. So actually not terrible there, but it just feels like it never can get things going here. Now, ultimately, long term.
Well, that's the feeling since October because it's basically bottom there. Well, yeah, I mean, since that top, but then October to where it is now, it's basically gone nowhere. It's about like the exact same measurement.
It just feels like there's no excitement behind its moves, really. Or even a lot of the coins within its ecosystem. It seems like all of that hype is kind of transferred over to Solana, and Solana's chart reflects that as well. I mean, it's a more interesting chart long term. I don't think Ethereum's chart is bad long term. I think that it will generally go up from here, and it probably will make new highs before the end of the cycle. I mean, crazy statement, right? But at the same time, I think it's becoming less and less relevant as time goes on, and it does seem like there really is an opportunity for disruption in the sort of function that Ethereum performs. And so one of the other sort of layer one type things can probably take it over. And I think Solana is it seems like it actually is really positioned for that. But again, I don't know the fundamentals of these things. I'm just looking at charts, and right now, Solana from past cycle, from the last cycle to this one is a lot more interesting than Ethereum from that same time frame. Where do I think Ethereum goes from here? I think you're going to see somewhere back down around 3,200, maybe even as low as 3,100, and I think that would be a damn good place for potentially a higher low on the weekly. In the very, very short term, does it try for a bounce relatively soon? Maybe around 33 even, probably yes, but any sort of a short-term bounce that fails to reclaim back above, let's call it 3,900, is just that, a bounce before going lower. So we'll see where this next bounce takes it. I would say the first sort of warning signal that maybe it puts in the higher low there is if you start to see it back above 38, but it's got a long way to go. So ultimately, I'm not like, if I'm holding Ethereum, I'm just thinking of what other things could I be in that are going to produce better returns that are, kind of the same nature. And I really don't hold much of any Ethereum anymore. I'm mostly just I'm mostly in other things at this point. What about you?
Yeah, very similar when it comes to ETH. I was looking at ETH BTC when I was mentioning about the values between that and Bitcoin, basically sideways since October after such a long fall. So yeah, I was still looking at that low. I remember we talked ages ago, even on Twitter, that low back in June of 2022, that little spike there on your chart, the teal bar. The ETH really hasn't broken down from that. It tested it a month or two ago in January, and now it's trying to hold out. This doesn't look like the greatest move to the downside, but I mean, as long as this low holds around 4.9 mil to 5 mil, then it's got some potential, but it doesn't look like it wants to do it at the moment. And this might be the last little flush out.
Yeah.
But it's got to stay above. It's got to close back above those levels.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you. Yeah. No, I would not want to see it below February's low on a closing basis, which is 51. Below there, I look at that as likely continuation, or at least a retest of this low over here. But I don't know.
It can spike there.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's at the moment, because it's just in this range.
Yeah, it's just uninteresting. So compare that with let's see Solana versus Bitcoin. I actually I haven't even looked at this chart. I'm just curious. Yeah, completely different. This to me is very likely to make new highs at some point. So
yeah, I've just made a chart. I've got ETH Solana's just straight down from there. I mean, I don't hold Solana. I hold a lot of ETH, so this hasn't been the greatest there, but I'm just looking for an exit on ETH because this was mine from previous cycles. So I'm up quite a lot from that. That's my play here.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the returns from ETH are if you're. I'm not holding ETH because I think ETH is going to be the next major thing in the world or anything like that. Or it's not.
It's going to do better returns than Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. The only crypto that I'm really comfortable holding long term is Bitcoin. Other than that, it's all just trading, for more Bitcoin to me. Which I know a lot of people will disagree with, and fair enough. That's just my perspective, and you could very much be right. It's just that's not the game that I want to play. I look at Bitcoin as the same way that the tax authorities look at it in most major Western countries, which is as an asset. So if it's an asset, I mean, I want to be treating it as an asset. Whereas a lot of these things, they actually do want to be currencies. And I don't want a currency or just one massive decentralized application platform. I'm not that interested in that. To me, that is really heavy speculation. So if I'm thinking very, very long-term holds, I don't want it. Just not for me.
I mean, I don't know what's going to make it in the end. This time around it's Solana, but then it keeps crashing on certain days when there's too much volume. Not saying there's nothing wrong with it or there's anything wrong with the price. It's doing much better. People get really triggered about that. But I'm what happens if that narrative then sticks around till the next cycle? ETH's narrative is it's so expensive and it's garbage and it's so not necessarily slow, but it's slower than Solana. So what happens if Solana's problems stick around to next cycle? No one knows.
Yeah, but there is a really good point that I see a lot of the fundamental guys bring up with Solana versus Ethereum, in that if you're new coming into this market, and especially if you're new and you don't have a humongous account, you're going to look at the fees on Ethereum and be like, why would I bother with this when I can kind of get the same thing with Solana and the fees are a lot less? Because those people, they're not going to be concerned about Solana going down and all this sort of shit. They don't even know about that. They don't even know what the fuck that means. I barely even know what it means, to be honest. So that does kind of make sense to me. Because when Ethereum actually was above 4,000, I was trying to do a few things on it, and for me, it's it's not a big deal. But if you're getting a gas fee of $100 and you're trading a few $100, that doesn't make much sense. You can't make money that way.
No, it's got to be minimum 4 figures. Because it might be a $50 fee on $1,000, so it's 5%. Most of the moves you're looking to do more than 5%. So it only really works if you're playing with thousands rather than hundreds.
I see this comment so often. In this case, it's coming from Haven Peck, and he says Solana won't crash until I have my long trades going. Man, I wonder why so many people think that. Maybe it's just like short-term time frame buys or something like that. But if you're entering in on a limit order, I mean, obviously you are going to be probably run over a little bit, at least. But it's not always going to work like that, man. You don't need things to like hit your order and then immediately go up. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
A couple of things on the macro sphere, looking at, say, the stock markets. These things have just been grinding on and on and on. Do you still look at it much?
I haven't been looking at it on my channel much, just because Bitcoin's been moving pretty often. But I do look at it on my own. I mean, looking at SPY, looking at NASDAQ, I think that these things are poised for more. You know, it's again, you're getting a correction. Like, Jesus Christ, this one's really starting to get far away, but it can correct it. It can correct quite a bit here and still be long-term bullish. I mean, I don't see any.
That's what I'm looking at, like, just to see if I'm missing anything here.
Yeah.
With ES1 and NASDAQ, what I've seen with those bull markets, when they break into new all-time highs, it's literally just grinds and grinds and grinds with single-digit corrections. And everyone's waiting for this big move, and it can't go on any longer, and everything's oversold, and it just keeps grinding for like 12, 18 months.
Those people have not studied history. Those people have not studied history, or what they do is they only look at this chart here, and they're like, okay, I've studied like basically the last 20, 25 years, and wow, this is really crazy. But
bullshit.
Look, if you
they study like the last fucking 6 months, and they've studied history.
But even then, like, look, if I pull up SPX and I go all the way back to 1871, like, and you really zero in on these rallies, okay, this is the start of 49. Like, just pretend that you are living during this time. Pretend that you're living during this time. I did this, by the way. I did this high as fuck, and it was really enlightening. And you just start scrolling. Okay, it's going up a lot. It's going up a lot. Dip. Okay, it's going down. No, it's going up more. Like, this is getting crazy. Like, crazy. It's going down. No, going down. Oh, fuck. New highs. Like, it literally does not fucking stop.
Coming out of the Second World War, now, and there was a recession.
Yep. I'm all the way to 66 now. Still higher low. It's not until we get into the 70s where there's even like remotely concerning long-term correction. Fucking crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy. And then people are looking at this over here like, dude, it just broke out to new highs. It's like, we've seen that for 10 years. We just looked at 40 years of price action. I mean, and you get the same thing from again after the 70s. Like, it's wild, man. It's wild.
And we literally just had the sideways range for 13 years, or even longer, 14 years in the 90s. What am I saying? 1998 to 2013.
Yeah,
was basically that's it. So. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to expect a pretty significant move after 14 years within a range.
Exactly. And like, that's just the thing. The long-term perspective is not there. And then if you start to study markets from like other, world-leading civilizations before, America kind of took over, like if you go to the Dutch, I think it was like the 16, 17, 1800s, something like that, the English, you start to get even more perspective that like their markets, which how much do you trust that data from back then? I don't know, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over again. And if you look at the headlines from the 70s and 80s, because there were some concerning corrections during there with regards to inflation, I saw the exact same headlines from 1970s area reprinted in the past year. The exact same ones. And the exact same thing happened. It's actually fucking insane. It really is that cycle over and over again. And when I did that, and when I really went into the data and really just did the research myself, not just listen to someone else on YouTube or anything like that, I suggest other people, if you're interested, like, study this shit yourself.
It's a starting point.
You're going to have a lot more conviction in what you're looking at. I see a question here from Will Klein. He says, Slurf has surpassed USDC in trading volume. Bullish. What the fuck is Slurf? This must be such a new shitcoin that I don't even know it. Is it on TradingView is the real question. SL. What is this? Okay, it is on TradingView. All right. I guess Bybit maybe. Been around for 2 days. All right, so we're off to a great start here. Wow, pretty good, I guess. Went from 40 cents to $1.50 high, something like that.
What do you want now? Oh, the 1 hour. Yep.
Yeah, look, there's no analysis for me to be done on something like this. It's like, it's an uptrend, I guess, until it's not.
If you get into it, then it's literally just a free shill now that you've given this.
I guess, yeah.
That's why I don't call these ones
I
out
fall
anymore,
for it, though, man. I always fall for it. Let's see what the market cap on this thing is. 500 million, 550 million.
Is it?
Yeah.
That seems a bit.
What
bit
does
large.
this thing? Okay, so it's. Oh my God, man! Hold on, I need to do my research here. Now I really am
Founder
showing this shit.
accidentally burned all presets.
Okay, this looks interesting. What the fuck is this shit? Okay, so this is like literally a meme upon memes. It has all of the marketing hype acronyms here. WAGMI, Moon, the next Bome, Unstoppable. Who is Slurf? Once upon a time, nestled in the lush canopies of the Amazon rainforest, lived Slurf the Sloth. Famed for his lethargic yet endearing ways, one fateful night, as he gazed upon the shimmering moon, an idea sparked within him. Determined to reach the celestial body, Slurf embarked on his slow and steady journey, inching his way through the dense foliage. With unwavering determination, he traversed rivers and climbed towering trees, each movement deliberate and calculated. As the days turned into weeks, Slurf's perseverance paid off as he finally reached the moon. Wait, what? He went quite far there, actually. Basking in its ethereal glow, becoming the first sloth to achieve such a feat, and from that moment on, Slurf's legendary ascent inspired creatures across the blockchains to reach for the stars, proving that even the slowest among us can achieve greatness with patience and determination. I'm dumber for reading all that shit.
I mean, this is all absolute garbage, but I think everyone gets it. Just looking at now they're putting like a story outside of this, and the story is that the dev burnt all of the coins. Like, look at us. It's a free publicity for them now.
I guess. I don't know. Does it even really help though? I'm not even convinced that like me talking about something really helps it. Like, my ego isn't that big yet. It's still a lot. It's not better than the dwarf, that's for sure. Slurf can go fuck himself.
1 hour. Who is it?
Slurf.
Oh.
Slurf. The names are funny, though. I will say that. Man.
I'm just having a look at it myself.
It's silly, man. But I think at this point, like, the sillier it is, probably the better, you know?
Yeah.
Could you please do some analysis on render? RNDR. We've looked at this a few times in the past. It's pretty good from what I remember.
Yeah, it's been pretty strong.
Yeah, I would say still pretty good. Probably corrective here, but it did hit the 2618 extension, which I believe was our target from last week. I think it's corrective here, but long term, I think that the rally continues. But corrective in the short term, it's hit a pretty big number there.
It's a massive rally. What is it from the bottom? It's done huge returns.
Yeah. Now, whenever I see this, when I see this double extreme on volatility like this, that to me is a corrective signal for that time frame, and this is a daily. So I think it comes down and tries for a higher low somewhere above like $7.5.
Gotcha. So what are you saying? It's pumped up twice hard and it just wasn't able to keep going?
It's these volatility reads here. Like, when you see extremes on volatility is a mean reverting indicator. So by literal, like, statistical and mathematical definition, it must contract after that. It must cool down after that. And contraction within the context of an uptrend explosive move would imply downside, sideways and down. So you'd want to like see this kind of come back down at least below 50 percentile, and then the lower the better, really. And then it's probably time to be thinking of it as like, hey, this is likely a higher low in the making here. Sir, Mr. Jason has commented, who's the real Jason? Thoughts on Tesla short or call? Short or call? What is short or call? It's an interesting way of posing a Question, I don't even know what the fuck you're asking, man. Short or call? Like, I would think that you're saying short or long, or maybe put or call, but it's short or call. Like, something's, my brain is breaking on this one.
It wasn't clicking for me. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think on Tesla? I think Tesla has actually seen the highs for a very long time and works its way down here over time.
I think so. Yeah. Let me have a quick look.
It has hit kind of a bouncy area at 160, which is what I believe we were looking at last week. I think it can spend some time bouncing around here, but ultimately I'd be looking for it to trade back down, probably closer towards the $130 lows, somewhere around there, I think. And maybe it tries for a low there. But this, to me, like where you get this monthly lower high right here with stochastic momentum pointed down and a rejection of the bullish control zone, to me, that's more of a long-term bearish signal than it is anything else. So while I do think it'll retest these lows, I think that there's actually a good chance that it will break those long-term. I can be wrong on that, of course, but it would still imply the same thing in the more medium term, that it likely does continue down, maybe after like an attempt for a bounce here. But bearish below 300 long-term, in my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, it's definitely bearish since that top in November 21. Obviously, there are all the lows there. The level of $207 or $208 is the major 50% level from its inception at $1, essentially $1, to the top of 414. Obviously, I know about the stock splits and all that sort of thing, but just using the data that's here, underneath 207 is weak, and you got that little swing bottom there around 152. Yep. So breakdown of that, probably going to come back and test somewhere around 100 to 130. So yeah, it's just been bearish the whole time. This is not a chart that I would like to buy dips on.
Short or call on Kikek. Seeing some great ones. Hong Chin has a great question. He says, "Hey Krown, who's your favorite crypto analyst on YouTube?" You're looking at him, Jason Bugino. He's I think he's one of the only other guys who's like big on YouTube, who is good. His brother's also quite good as well. Maybe a little bit more focused on the short term. But
yeah,
I think both of the Pizzino brothers are like, they come from a legitimate background. They are grounded in their analysis. They are realistic in their analysis, and they're good. So I would say them. Especially because they also cover a lot of different things as well, and they have a different look on price action than myself. Although a lot of the time we do kind of come to similar conclusions, but we're doing different things more or less. Who's your favorite shitcoiner? Yeah. Elio trades is one of my good friends, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess he caters more to like the shitcoin crowd, which fair enough. I mean, this cycle they've had great results, so can't really fault that, man. Is it fuck or not? It's fuck, baby. Yeah. We're fuck or not. Let's see. I'm just looking at some more of these. Short or call on Kikeg, Mr. Krown? Sure, man. We can look at
short or call. Is that still going?
Yeah, it's the new meme. I don't even know what. Maybe I'm not getting it, but fair enough. God, man, this one is just such a fucking. It's such a loser because it actually did have a pretty good. Wow, actually had a really solid move after last week's stream. We were bullish on it after last week's stream. Probably hitting one of these fib extensions here, and it hit actually the 1382. That was a 3x move. Holy shit. Very, very nice. But just literally gives all that back as soon as it can. The dwarf is not running right now, man. Look, maybe it tries for a higher low, somewhere around 900, whatever the hell that number is. But it's hard to trust these things because these are literal memes that are like literally have no fucking value. So it's like you can't. It's really hard to trust traditional forms of analysis on these, I think. But yeah, fair enough.
I mean, there's just not enough price data there anyway.
Yeah, it's just
you can see the uptrend on like a 1 hour chart. You're like, well, I mean, the trend's up on a 1 hour, but all of a sudden tomorrow it could be down.
Yeah, I just don't trust that sort of a thing. Last week was an easy call for upside continuation. Right now, I would not have an easy call on this one. Maybe it tries for a higher low somewhere around 900, and maybe that goes well. Base 4267 says PNG on the daily and monthly. I guess we can do some shitcoin requests. I'm not familiar with this one particularly, Pangolin. Sounds like some sort of penguin themed shitcoin. Guess we go to CoinEx for this type of shit. Not as bad of a chart as what I would have expected. In fact, you know, for a 2021 shitcoin, it got pretty damn close to its prior all-time high. It's not a bad sign. I do think it's hit a major high here, and it will trade to the downside. Let's see where the major fibs are coming in. It's already at the shallow fib, the 382. I think it at least gets to 50%, maybe even the 618, and tries for a higher low there. But good, generally relatively good strength compared to many other things from that prior cycle. It's up 3,500% from the lows. I mean, it's not bad. So I would generally be looking for a higher low on this move to the downside, but these things can retrace very, very nastily. And if Bitcoin does dump off another, you know, let's say 10%, I wouldn't be surprised to see it somewhere down around the 618. Let's see. Boombox says Krown sale on until end of month. Yep, until the last day of March, sir. So there's no rush. Time to attack says Ave looking for areas of interest to DCA. First time hearing Jason. Looking forward to seeing his YouTube stuff. If you haven't heard of Jason's stuff, but you've heard of mine, I don't know what the hell's going on there, man. The YouTube algorithm is playing tricks on you, man. Jason's channel is much bigger than mine.
Good things.
Yeah. Let's see. Ave, do you have an opinion on Ave?
Ave, I think it was
another 2021 shitcoin. To me, very uninteresting.
Yeah. Just the easiest way that I always suggest is just go the alt symbol and the BTC symbol. That's it. AAVE, BTC. If that's a downtrend on a weekly or a monthly, there's just no point. If you look at it against a USD chart, it's going to be going up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And what do you know? This is straight down. I mean, there's going to be bounces along the way, but hard to look.
It's not what you come to crypto for.
No.
It's not what you come to alt. That's what I always say.
That's a really good way of putting it. It's just like, look, when you're thinking in terms of opportunity cost, this one is not a winner. But a rising tide lifts all ships, probably going to go up over time versus US dollar. Just uninteresting, I think, long term.
Yeah, all this old stuff. Quant, straight down. Yeah. Sand, straight down.
Yeah.
I think Axie Infinity, straight down.
Yeah.
XRP, straight down. VET had a couple of little pumps, and now it's just straight down again. Everyone was talking about VET like last month.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's giving back all of those gains.
Okay, here's an interesting one. We have AVAX, someone's asking for, and it does look like it is putting in the beginning. That's an old one
that's done well.
It does look like it's in the beginning of putting in a macro uptrend, actually. You got your weekly higher low right here. I think that this one actually could be okay. Chart? Yeah, I'm looking at BTC chart. I mean, still, I think that there are better options, yes, but it's not terrible.
There are better options. This AVAX chart looks similar to, I think, Rune BTC.
Let's see this one.
Similar.
Yeah, very similar. Very, very similar.
Yeah, very similar. What I noticed this cycle is some of the 2021 stuff has actually done okay, considering
some. Yeah, for sure.
Where we have some of it, but I don't know how it's going to go from this point forward now. You know, I would stay away from Matic. Matic's just straight down.
That
had a huge distribution.
I hear a lot about. Yeah, I've not looked at the Bitcoin pair in here ever.
It's terrible.
Bad. Just making new monthly lows too. So,
yeah, I think I had high hopes for Link, but this is starting to break down. It's probably going to get into my stop zone in a minute. Not a minute, but a few days.
Oh wow, yeah, just another lower high. Another lower high with stochastic momentum turning down at the same time. That is not a good recipe.
Nope.
It's a recipe for at least a retest of those lows, maybe new lows.
Yeah, against USD, it's been okay. Like it's been holding, but that's not what you want to see with your altcoins. I think from this pump, the stronger ones would have broken 50% levels if they had a 50% level, like if they were around from the previous cycle. For example, Solana versus Link. Solana was a better option than Link, just looking at the charts.
All right, so call or short? It's a call, baby. We have a call. Sir Mr. Jason says, my bad, guys. I meant call or put. I working my second job. I'm exhausted. Call or put AMD. I like caller short actually, so we're gonna go with that. Let's play caller short. Jesus, that looks like a fucking topping dildo. Let's see.
Which one?
AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, traditional markets. I'm guessing he's talking about. Look, like if you are okay, so I'm guessing you're talking about longing a call or put. I actually do come from traditional markets. I used to be a market maker, authorized trader in equity options, and so the thing is like when you say just call or put, it doesn't imply strike price, doesn't imply the price of the option, doesn't imply whether you're short or long. But I'm just gonna go with interpreting that as call means long, going up, and put means short going down. And by the way, just because you buy calls or buy puts and it goes in that direction does not mean you're going to make money. You need to make the strike price plus the price of the premium, and that's going to be working against you. And I can tell you as a former market maker, authorized trader, that it's priced in a way so that you will not make money. And usually the market maker's models is going to be a lot more accurate than not, more often than not. Anyways, looking at advanced micro devices, I think that you do have a nice swing high right here. I think that you do see this one come down at least towards 165. It's a short. No, it doesn't come off as great as call. But no, I do think that this one works this way a little bit further down. But long term, the trend is your friend, and this is a very good trend. So it's an opportunity for another higher low. Quarterly charts, very bullish. Again, you didn't even give a time frame on it, so not only do you not have an option strike price or expiration date or short or long, but we also don't even have a time frame on the chart. It's a P. it's gotta run to the bathroom. Pee or poo? I don't know, man. Do both.
You have to run to the bathroom soon, wouldn't you? Time to wrap it up soon.
We can end it whenever, man. It's all good. I got plenty of time today. Today's an off day for me, so it's no problem. But yeah, looking at this one right here, long term, I think it goes up more. It's just what sort of time frame we're looking at on there.
I do have to jet off, but
okay, no problem.
Been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed every moment of it. Hanging out with the legend.
It's good to have you back.
We have to do it again soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's nice and easy to do.
Especially when you're in this time zone. How long are you in this time zone for?
I'll be here until like end of May. Something like that.
Okay. A couple of months.
Yeah.
Got time.
Yeah. We got plenty of time, man.
We shall reconvene in a few weeks' time.
Sounds good, brother. Alrighty, my man. It's good to see you as always. By the way, guys, if you want to see Jason's channel, if you're not already familiar with him, then his link is in the title of this video. You just need to press on that. He uploads every day, or pretty much every day, and he's one of the best in the game. So very, very nice.
Likewise. And
Take care,
very
man.
much appreciated all of our shit talk. Take care.
Take care, man. All the best, dude.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Alrighty. I will take Mr. Bazzino off now. Oh, damn. Just went straight to me. Where is my window for that? Because I should probably get rid of that. There we go. Wait. Nope. I lost it. I'll stay on for a little bit longer. See what other sort of comments and stuff that we get. Get rid of that. Boom. There we go. Let's see. Okay. So we got some shitcoin requests now. I guess we can look at some of this stuff. How much time do I have? Okay. I have like another 10, 20 minutes myself. Boombox is saying super daily and weekly best shitcoin. I think it's actually getting kind of close to an area where I'd be a little bit concerned about it. Let's see. Coming back down below $100 would not look good, and I do think it's probably going to test around there, actually. Wow, giving up a lot of these gains. See what it looks like on a weekly. Yeah, this is a weekly swing top as well. Okay, let's see. Where does a weekly fib come in from? Weekly fibs are a little bit more forgiving here. I actually do think it's going to come at least down towards $1. Try for a bounce there probably, but with the way that stochastic momentum is looking, I do think that bounce might not be the bounce that you're looking for. Probably comes down a little bit lower than that, maybe towards 80 cents, and I think that could be a nice area for a higher low. Jesus Christ, okay. Let me get prepared over here. Jacob Virgil says Coinbase stock. Again, one of my favorite stocks actually, as just like a long-term holder. Okay, so I always like to be aware of the long-term view on this one. Last month, we just saw a bullish engulfing dildo that didn't just engulf the prior month, but the 2 prior months. So to me, that's still a long-term strong signal towards the upside. Hey, turn that volume down, man. That is fucking loud. Jesus. Let's see the quarterly. I'm still going to be bullish on this long term. Weekly, do we have a top in? I'm actually not even as concerned about this one. Daily looks like I already have the low in. Really only can be bearish is not the right word, but looking for the next step down towards 205, 206 region. If you see it trade below Friday's low, which is 222. Right now trading about 15, 16 bucks above that number. Let's see. Cruise 80 says, can you check out Omni Ecomi? Okay, I think this is like a very old shitcoin. Omi. What the fuck is this? Okay, this is like way deep in the shitcoin drawer, I think. Let's see. Down. Not strong, not good, very fucking bad long term, very likely to come back down. I think it's going to give up a lot on this rally. Again, I really do not like this sort of a setup where you see weekly stochastic momentum turning alongside a rejection on a lower high. I think this one probably gives up a lot on this rally. It probably comes back down at least to February lows. I think it could even come all the way back down to like your January area, like 6,300. Whatever the hell this area is right here. Long-term terrible. It's just, look, when most things in this market were putting in macro lows over the past year and rallying up and putting in, major moves, this thing did fuck all. So to me, that's like a long-term bad signal. Of course, you're going to see your pumps along the way, like you saw over here, but it's just not interesting compared to, it didn't even get anywhere close to outpacing Bitcoin. And this is a low liquidity shitcoin, so no excuses for shit like that in my opinion. But again, versus US dollar long term probably generally goes up, assuming that the Bitcoin cycle continues, which I think that it does. But let's see what it looks like versus Bitcoin, because I'm gonna guess not great. Okay, it doesn't even trade versus Bitcoin. That's weird. Huh. All right, wasn't expecting that. Jojo the Terrible says, hello there. So nice to see you all. What's up, man? Jason just left us, unfortunately, but we'll have him back another time soon. Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital. I'm actually curious to see what the miners look like. I'm going to guess pretty bad just because, well, the halving's coming up. So if you're going to be losing about half your revenues, it's probably not a good thing. And yeah, same shit right here as well. Again, same fucking thing. This one even has bearish divergence on stochastic momentum. So you get a high right here. Lower high on stochastic momentum and turning down below the bullish control zone. I think this one's generally going to come back down around your January lows at least. If it loses those lows, I think it could come all the way back down to like 10, 11 bucks long term. Yeah. Monthly look isn't as bad, to be fair. Actually, when I look at the quarterly, I could be very, very wrong on this one. It does say it might actually put in the low right here. And it would be a higher low on the daily as well. And it would be a gap fill. And it probably, it's at least in the short term going to try for a rally right here. Let's see how high that rally gets. If you see it back above like 27 or 29 bucks, okay, game on to the upside. Until then, be a little bit cautious on this move. But bounce first, and then give it and then kind of see where it's at. All right, Mati says, Chain GPT. Elsa calls it ChatGPT or MP3. Can you look at ChatGPT? I want the ChatGPT. Ho, ho, ho. Long term, again, good. You do have a general upside chart, but I do think that you have a swing top in right here on the weekly. I know you're on the 4-hour and daily, but it's good to have a long-term look in mind. There might be an attempt for a very short-term time frame bounce at its current area, but I think you're generally going to see in the coming weeks back down to low 30s, like 32 to 31 cents, and maybe tries for a higher low somewhere around there. 4-hour time frame, it's kind of ugly, but maybe tries for a short-term bounce here first. But overall, lower high. Follow the trend. I think it's coming back down, man. I think it's coming back downs. It's actually not the Chicago Mercantile Exchange that I traded on. I was above the SIBO, but I was technically my quotes being routed through ARCA. People, or not people always ask, but authorized market maker. I was a market maker authorized trader, actually, is what I was. That's the official thing. One time, because someone looked it up and they're like, hey, what, you weren't a market maker, you were a market maker authorized trader. It's like, it's actually kind of the same shit, but Yeah. It's basically just working with my mentor's account, so that's what I really need, like the full-on thing. Just needed authorization to just send quotes electronically, which that's only what you need for right there. Series 56. Anyways, all right, we'll look at a couple more here. Krown with hat. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one. I do not want to be a meme target. Not great. Not great for me. It might go well for a little bit of time, but I think the inevitable would be terrible at some point. I live in basement. You live in basement? Whose basement? Do you need help? Would you like to get out, or do you like it there? I love Balkan Queef. Also questionable. Balls on you. Yes, balls on me too, sir. All right, I'm trying to see a few more. Huh? Did I see doggy? All right, we'll look at doggy derp. The doggy derp coin. Jesus fucking Christ, can't even spell it. It's another one that seems to never really be able to get anything going. Another weekly swing high, it looks like to me. Let's see where the next sort of fib levels come in around. All right, 50% levels, 12.5 cents. You're almost there, probably an attempt for a bounce, but I do think it'll come down to at least 11 cents. Maybe try for a higher low there. Below 9 or below whatever this number is right here, just fucking give up on this rally and give up on this damn asset. Is my opinion. Yeah, man. Look, I was bullish on this thing back around 8 cents when I made a video on it a couple months ago. A little bit more, almost tripled from there. I think that was a good move. Don't think it's time to be too aggressive on this one, man. You know, that's the problem with a lot of these shitcoins. Like, they just give up every chance that they get. Still long-term macro. I mean, it's a better chart than most things in this market that purport to be legitimate. I mean, if you're looking at doggy BTC, I imagine it's probably even worse. Yeah, this would be my fear. Just another lower high and a series of lower highs that will continue on for eternity. Not my favorite on these things, man. Has a lot to prove there. Do I want to look at SEI for Mr. Hater? All right, we'll look at SEI. Just really quickly here. SEI versus the dollar. Actually not bad long term. Short term, I do think it comes down more, but certainly one of the better new coins. Do I think it comes down a lot from here? Could come down to range lows at 60 cents, but again, compared to most of the things that we've seen today, it's actually certainly one of the better ones. Just I think short term, it's corrective here, like most things are, and it's holding the correction at a pretty high level thus far. You know, you probably get some sort of a range like I have right here. You know, might come back down somewhere towards 57 to 60 cents. Anything within that range is gonna be long term good. Tinder? Does Tinder trade IPO? I don't know. Actually, no, it doesn't. But there appears to be a Tinder bonk and Tinder Floki, Tinder Trump. That's got to be a good one. Not good. It's not good, man. Really not good right there. That's how Elsa and Eric met. Yes, indeed. We met through Tinder. It's the best app of all time. Best app of all time, man. Hey, man, it's all good. It's all good, man. I understand. People like to talk shit on the internet. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Gary, long term. All right, we'll probably start to end things on this note. Did I spell that right? Yes. Okay, Gary token. What the fuck is this thing? Okay, a lot of history here. A lot of bad history here. Again, just fucking down, down, down. Again, and this is versus USD. This is even worse. Look, man, you're going to get your pumps along the way, but they just do not hold their own. I even think that this current pump is in the process of giving up all of its pump. Very bad. Very, very bad. Yeah, just ugly. Fucking ugly, man. Whenever you see something like this long term, look, it's going to pump along the way, but those pumps do not hold. You're going to hate me when I say that as well, because it can pump up like a lot in one go, but they just don't hold long term. So that to me means it's just when you're thinking in terms of opportunity cost, this is not fucking it, man. Not fucking it. Seller, bro. All right. A couple more, and then we're ending it. Seller, CELER. See what this one is and what it does. I think the ticker actually is CELR. we might actually get some a little bit more. Not many charts going on this one. Actually not. This one long-term bullish. Long-term does have a macro low in, and I do think that this current downside move will put in a higher low. Areas of interest to the downside, 23 cents and 20 cents, maybe even 17 cents if things get really crazy. But I do think that one of those is going to make a higher low here, but probably more short-term downside to go. All right. Let's see. Krown, how much do you pay for your third-party trading view trading slave? So for the service that I use called Alertatron, it depends what you do on it, but I pay a yearly thing, and then I manipulate it so it has enough alerts for me that I use on like a monthly basis. So for that, it's about $600 a year. But you can get it for even less than that on a year if you're not like getting as many alerts, which is completely fine and probably going to be viable for many people if you're not trading low-term timeframes like I am. And that could be somewhere between like $200 to $300, I do believe, off the top of my head. But you can check it out on Alertatron. I don't have any affiliate with them or anything like that. It's a service that I use. They do a mostly good job, so I have no problem talking about it. But I've been using it for a little over a year now, and it's been good. Jack Lawley says, any opinion on A0? Okay, we'll do the last of these super chats, and then we'll get off this. I have no opinion on it because I've literally never heard about it in my life. As far as charts go, it's been around since about a year. Certainly not one of the stronger new altcoins, but I do think it is going to try for a bounce kind of around where it's at right now. Bounces can come back up towards 135, in like the next week or two, but I think a lot of these new shitcoins, they're going to get a general kind of free ride. But this is not one of the better new shitcoins, in my opinion. Big problems if you start to see this one trade below your January, February lows, basically. But I think you're going to try for kind of like a move like this. If you trade above this high, very, very good. You're going to probably make new ultimates from there. But in the short term, it's going to kind of grind its way out. Maybe put in a few more wicks to the downside and then try for a rally and see how high that rally gets. All right. Oh, so tender says TIA, please, for the short term. I think in contrast to the one that we just looked at, the TIA one is actually one of the good new shitcoins. So let's see. Not looking good on that weekly, but again, just kind of went straight up. So giving up some here, completely fine. I know that you asked for short term, but I just want to see where things are at. I think that you're kind of getting ready for a bounce somewhere. There should be like a decent bounce somewhere around here, like 10 and a quarter to 10 and a half bucks, somewhere around there. I think there should be an attempt for a bounce, but it's kind of just nosediving here in free fall. So I do think you got some more a little bit more downside to go before it tries for a bounce. If you're very short term, again, this is starting to get a little bit overdone to the downside in the short term. When I see like extreme highs on volatility on BBWP for this one for this long, it's like it's not gonna be able to keep that up for so long. So you're gonna get a mean reversion play, and in this case that means a bounce, but maybe a little bit lower first and then a bounce. All right, cool. I think we're at the end of the chats there. I think we'll end things right there as well. Yeah, it's a nice fun stream. We had some fun action with Jason Bazzino, good friend. And again, if you haven't checked him out already, if you don't know about him, his handle is in the link in the title of this video. And yeah, we'll end things right there. As always, I want to wish everyone the best. It's been a nice, fun stream. We'll end on some Balkan dwarf action as we'll let him take us out. Come on, show me the dwarf. Boost it up, baby. Full volume. Oh, he's got a wolf team now. Who are you, mate? It's Thor! What? He can't do that to the dwarf. You bastard! Leave him alone! Oh, shit! This is incredible! He's chosen rich again! Oh my god, he's so rich! And we'll end things on that note. Much love to everyone out there. Take care.